We ready? I think we got everybody.
I need to know
Jim?
that this is being recorded. Okay, but it's being
Okay, I can't see everybody else, so if someone raises their hand or something, I have no clue. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call to order the Board of Trustees meetings for Butler Community College, the special board meeting that has been called for Monday, January 4th, 2021. It's being held in the Dankert boardroom. There are a number of us that are appearing by Zoom. I understand there's some questions about our agenda, maybe a discussion of amending the agenda to include an update on the culinary program in open session that is separate and distinct from the executive session dealing with real estate issues. Does someone have a motion they want to make to amend the agenda? Okay, there being no motion, then we'll go ahead and move forward.
No, that's not what, no.
This is Shelby.
There's
Hello.
multiple people.
Oh, there you are. I can't hear.
No, you're good.
So,
No, you're good. I wasn't close enough. Yeah, I would move to the agenda be amended to add just a culinary discussion program after the executive session regarding
Okay.
real estate.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
He may not have heard
Julie
you.
seconded.
Speak into your mic.
I'll second.
Okay. All right. All in favor? I guess we're going to do roll calls. All in favor? Go ahead, Laura.
Yes.
Trustee Law,
Yes.
Trustee Rhodes, did you say yes first?
I can't hear Laura.
I can't either.
Trustee Rhodes, do you?
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Winslow,
Yes.
Trustee Lechtenberg,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
it passes unanimously.
Okay, so the agenda will be so moved. Let's go ahead and move into executive session. Do I have a motion to move into executive session, not to exceed 60 minutes for consultation with legal counsel regarding real estate, to include Dr. Kroll, Lori Winningham, Mel Whiteside, Ray Cannell, and all the board members that are present. We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded.
Roll call.
Trustee Good,
Yes.
Trustee Law,
Yes.
Trustee Rhodes,
Yes.
Trustee Winslow,
Yes.
Trustee Lechtenberg,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
passes unanimously.
Okay, so do we need to move into another room or something? Whatever.
Yeah.
However that
We'll
works.
put you in a breakout room, and so you should just be able to click accept the invitation to the breakout room.
Okay.
The message will come across your screen in a second.
We probably need to not discuss
I
it.
think we're out of executive session now. We're into just an open session.
Okay, then I would like for Mary Martha to repeat her question.
Oh, have you found anyone to take over or be the directors of the culinary program?
This isn't any different than having a history teacher resign at the end of the semester. We have we have students enrolled in classes for spring, and so right away we begin to look for adjuncts that are interested in taking on some additional load. We have advertised. We started advertising before Christmas. We've got a couple of weeks before classes start, and I know Mel has some line on some folks, but we run into these kinds of things probably every semester where we have to find faculty at the last minute to cover. Now, oftentimes when we hire them, we indicate to them that it's a temporary contract, a temporary full-time or a temporary part-time contract, because you have to get somebody on board quickly, and in some situations that's the primary goal, is to get somebody hired so you've got somebody in class, and then you kind of can assess your needs based on enrollment and courses that are on the schedule and who can teach what, and and rearrange loads then. And
I would like to have an explanation as to what happened.
Julie, I don't know, other than they were offered jobs at WSU Tech to work full time and to develop a program there, and they took them. So I don't know I didn't talk to John Michael and Alexis, but again, it was a personal decision that they made, and so we wish them luck. And
Sure.
We have faculty that resign lots of times that feel like they're taking a job or a position maybe that's better suited to them. So,
Does Mr. Whiteside have anything to add to that?
Regarding John and Alexis, yeah,
Leaving, and if we had any notice, if there had been negotiations or something and they fell through, did they just decide that all of a sudden they're going to leave?
well, it is my understanding that the negotiations with Dr. Utash were going on for 6 months.
we weren't necessarily aware. They had been on some of our trips to look at space. So,
This is part of
But-
business.
it is.
We
They were
lose
here a
them.
long time,
We're going
weren't
to
they?
get the biggest, best people in there next time. And
My concern,
forth.
my son's in the program, and I went to Butler and took Russian and had an adjunct professor that ended up, I wasted my time at Russian. I had to go retake Russian at Wichita State. And he's concerned. He's trying to enroll now, and it just says staff. He doesn't feel comfortable. What staff are we getting? What are their qualifications? Are they
Well,
top tier chefs?
let
Are
me-
they just
please let me-
teachers, just adjunct?
Let-
I want to know what's best for our students so they can pay us their
Right.
money and then go get a quality job as soon as they're done.
So
And this
let me,
last semester, even he spent one of his nights watching a documentary in person in class, watching Jiro Dreams of Sushi, which is a great doc, but that's not why he's going to culinary school, quote unquote, is to.
So let me answer your question just a little bit, and provide some insight. Right now, there are tremendous industry professionals out there whose restaurants have closed, or there's a lot of opportunity out there to actually have industry professionals in the classroom teaching, boots on the ground kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So I don't think that that's as great a concern. We have very high standards for the faculty that we hire and the credentials that they have to have. And so, do you get an adjunct instructor every now and then that teaches a different way, or you do, but I frankly think that this program has had only two full-time faculty, I think, right, Mel? 2 full-time faculty, and all the rest are adjuncts.
Okay.
And so it's not a program that we're going to turn around and create 3 or 4 positions for full-time faculty, because it won't support those at this point in time. But There are very good opportunities out there to engage people that are very active in the industry and very well connected for our students. And so,
Yeah, if we can do that, that makes
not
me much more
concerned.
comfortable than just saying
But,
adjunct. which
and
is-
again, even with the culinary classes, we've got 2 math instructors that retired at
Mhm.
Christmas time.
Ah,
And they're having difficulty finding replacements for those folks. And so those classes, differential equations and calc and some of those things, are going to have staff listed on them as well. Because sometimes what happens, well, oftentimes what happens at the beginning of the semester, when you look at the course enrollments and you look at faculty loads and stuff, that's when you rearrange some of those courses and some of the load, and you reassign different classes to different faculty. And so if you looked through our schedule, there would be probably a number of courses right now that have
Oh, for
staff
sure, yeah.
listed on them, not just in
Yeah.
culinary.
I just want to make sure that we get, the best we can for the money.
I mean,
It's
that's
what it
how
comes
you
down to.
ensure excellent programs, and that's how you, we have a reputation to maintain and uphold with an excellent education and qualified faculty and staff. And we aren't going to reduce those standards just because. So we run into situations where, we maybe offer a job to somebody and they turn around and they don't take it because we can't pay them what they want.
Right.
Or we can't fill a position because we can't find a qualified faculty member. We aren't interested in hiring warm bodies for anything, whether it's classroom or whether it's positions in offices. That's just a standard that we have. And so, if we don't feel like we can find the right person for a position, we tap into to other resources that we have to fill those spots, at least temporarily, to get us through the semester. So,
and I hear everything you're saying, and I really do want a culinary program. However, my concern is now that the instructors have left, I'm really not sure how we could compete with WSU. I just don't know how we're going to be able to compete with it. So I would like to know more about the WSU program and how Butler can possibly compete with that, how much money it's going to cost. I mean, honestly, this makes me feel like throwing a rope around the lead horse out there and going.
and who's the lead horse?
I'm a little, well, I don't know if I want to just go into naming names here, but I'm just telling you how I feel. It doesn't mean that I'm on a board. I am one person on a board, okay? So what I say really doesn't carry any flight. All I'm telling you is that I am reluctant now until we know more about what WSU is doing, how much their tuition is going to be, what they can offer to their students. I'm reluctant to start spending a whole bunch of money so that we can take students that are in Sedgwick County and draw them out here to Butler County. I'm just a little concerned. And rightfully so. I think it's right for all of us to be concerned on how we're going to compete with WSU at this point. If it was any other program, but it's a competition now.
I'm not here to compete with WSU.
Exactly.
I'll be right here.
Are we
But
going to are we going to have like complementary style programs
It's
where we're doing
hard to
different
answer
things,
those
or
programs
do we
because
know
they
what they're
don't
doing
have
yet?
a culinary program yet. They
They're
don't
just
have a
hospitality
culinary
currently.
program. They have hospitality. And so it's hard to answer that question, Julie, because they don't have a culinary program.
And they
So-
have to put the proposal together and get it approved by whom?
K-Board.
K-Board. So we'll see what we're going to see.
So it's possible that K-Board won't even authorize another program in the
Well,
area.
I can't answer that.
We can't
because they're
bank
the
on
ones
it
that make
either
that
way.
decision. So it actually flows through the Technical Education Authority and then goes to K-Board. So there's steps that have to happen along the way. But
Really, really concerned because I just, from what I've been able to find online, those teachers have been here for a long time, and I can't see them leaving without a really good reason. Because you know what? Money is not everything to some people. Money is just not everything. Mr. Whiteside, maybe he can tell us why, if they were unhappy. I mean, I'd like to know. I'm sorry, but I would.
I don't think that's, I don't think that it's fair for either Mel or me or anybody to try and assess their personal reasons for leaving. were they,
I sure would have liked to have talked to him at some point about, when we were talking last month or the month before, I would have liked to talk to them, asking what their visions were for the culinary program before any of this went went down. I guess it's the only way.
But those personnel type discussions are outside of our scope. That's not where we belong.
I understand what you're saying.
I read the book.
I understand what you're saying, and too many people are reading too many books, and that's all I'm.
I appreciate the book, Shelby.
But
I appreciated the book.
No, I know.
Shelby's. I'm talking about books that we never saw before as board members anywhere, and still maybe I've seen them, but you haven't. I'm guessing. But at any rate, before we make any big decisions on expanding any program in the future, I would just like to state I'd like to hear the vision of those directors or those personnel, whatever. We were already looking for a building, but I don't know what happened in negotiation. I only know what you tell me. I only know what Ray tells me. And I'm sure that's true everybody on the board. But frankly, I'd like to know if the negotiations were tried and what happened, and so that we can do better in the future, so that we don't lose any programs. I really liked the culinary program. I really liked the hospitality program, and I'm really sorry that this happened.
Maybe we didn't want them back. Maybe once they resigned, maybe we didn't. But Julie, it's time. We got to move on.
I don't even know them.
well,
Do you?
Know who they are?
Did you know them?
No, but I'm not going to go up there and say, what is your vision and why did you leave us?
Oh, I'm not saying that now, but when we were talking about expanding it and getting a new building out here, I would have liked for them to have been drawn into the meeting and say, hey, you know what? This is our vision for the culinary program, because I wanted it to grow. And now I feel like we've lost out. I do.
Oh, I don't.
feel like we've lost out. Well, we'll see.
How
We'll
many
see.
kids do we run in culinary? More, not kids, adults, but you know what I mean.
Students.
Students. Way younger than me, probably.
They're all supposed to be adults.
I
Mel
know.
or Lori, do you have just general enrollment information?
We have probably 130 students that enroll. Not all of them are full-time. Some of them are in and out. And there's some that are in hospitality and not in culinary. Some that are in culinary and not in hospitality. So that's kind of a combined number between the two areas.
What does hospitality do?
Excuse me?
What does hospitality do? I mean, what do you?
More on the event planning, tourism, those kind of things, where they're not in the kitchen like a culinary program is, where they're training to be a chef. I would like to I understand, Julie, your desire to talk maybe to the faculty that left us, but
No,
even
not now.
well, I know now, not now, but even if they get more money at WSU Tech, there is no negotiating us giving them more money to get them to stay at Butler because of the master agreement. We can't
Can't be a bidding war.
Yeah, I can't give one faculty member over here that's got a better job offer more money to entice them to stay. So we're kind of locked in with that master agreement, and there's really no negotiating at all in any departments whatsoever when we hire a faculty member, whether it's in math or physics or nursing or culinary.
Maybe I should put this another way. Before we vote or look at expanding any program or moving any program, I'd like to hear from the people that are in the program teaching it, the directors of the program, to see what their personal vision is. It may not match the staff of the college. It may not match ours.
There's another way of looking at that. In my estimation, as a former principal, we always built our programs and hired the people that fit into our programs. I didn't build a program around somebody I wanted to hire. I think you need to look at that. I think you need to look at that. We established the program and we hired people that fit our program.
Well, right now,
I think if you tie your programs to individuals, you get yourself in deep trouble.
Am I not asking this right? Am I not saying it right? 3 months ago, 2 months ago, we knew this program was going to expand. At that point,
We knew it was going to relocate.
Okay, well, I'm assuming that we would never want to go anywhere that couldn't be expanded. And that was one of the things brought up, is where we were could not be expanded. So I would have liked to had the people in the program to come and talk to us. Did they ever make that offer? To come and talk to us?
That's what the president's job is. It's not our job to be direct connecting with faculty of the program. That's what Dr. Kroll's position is.
Okay, I'm asking Kim.
We brought that vision to you as a board and asked if you would support the direction that we were moving. That was the conversation that we had with you at the time.
Right, I agree. That is a conversation we had at the time.
Yeah.
Did they ever ask if they could come and talk to the board? Do you ever have people in these different programs
Sometimes.
say, did they ever ask?
They didn't ask me. I don't know that they asked Mel or Lori. I'm not aware that they did, but
I know at least
yeah.
once or twice, and it might have been before the last change in the board, that they came and did kind of an overview.
Yeah.
Different departments do an overview at board meetings periodically.
Yeah,
But
well, we
that was
do,
probably before.
well, we do the,
this
we
last
do the
year.
division reports and the dean's talk, and faculty development sometimes brings their people in. So it just kind of depends on the conversation that we're having, but
And I had that one man, very nice man, want to come talk to us about starting up bass fishing. And
yeah.
and we're looking into it. Todd is, and we're not ready yet to go in that direct. I mean, we're not ready.
Yeah, there's
So-
always conversations that are
Yeah.
happening about,
Well, the construction
Things that we
program
never-
guys came and presented,
Right.
because we asked
Kind
them
of,
to.
yeah.
Yeah, we asked them to.
I mean, still before we invest a lot of money, we'd want to get more details, but along those lines, possibly. I had a question for Lori. When I hear hospitality, I always think of a hotel. Are we training these people specifically for restaurants, or a hotel also because hotels have, front desks and restaurants?
There's coursework that covers hotel management, but that was some of the stuff that WSU Tech, if we were to partner with them, that they wanted to take out of our program, and they would deliver that and leave the culinary part to us.
Why didn't we think about that?
Well, our enrollments in culinary arts is stronger than in hospitality management, and that was part of our discussions previously. So we'd never really landed on exactly how the coursework would be divided up and how everything would look. But that is certainly what WSU Tech informed us that they wanted to oversee.
What's our breakdown, culinary versus hospitality, more or less?
Mel, do you know that I don't have that in front of me. Let me see if I can get that.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but
We could get that for the next meeting
Okay.
for you. Let's
Okay,
do that.
yeah.
We'll get some of that information for you for the next meeting.
I only see a sliver of the program through my son, so I know we've got a
Yeah.
lot more going on than that.
is he going full time?
Well, full-time cooking. I don't know if he's just going more to focus on
Uh-huh.
getting a job as a chef
I
or
just wondered.
hospitality.
Yeah.
I haven't seen his report card because he moved out and doesn't share.
Oh boy.
Other questions? Jim, do you have some questions at all? Couldn't hear you, but I think you said no.
If he's talking.
You're talking, but we can't hear you, Jim.
You're
This
muted.
this is something that we've been, as a board, been talking about for quite some time. Even before you new folks came on, about, people making offers of giving land to us to build on, and what's our program cost right now? How many students do we have? And is it profitable to go in to expand further or to build? This is something that we've been talking about for a long time, and I think we have a pretty good program, and I don't have any reason to believe that anything bad's going to happen to the program just because two people decided that they cut a better deal or liked whatever the benefit is better to go over to WSU Tech to be in their program. I think that we just need to stay on track and keep our original vision, that is to have the program and make it a great program and move forward. And I trust that, all of the, Dr. Kroll, the executive staff, all the deans who are in charge of everything. I mean, they have the same goal that we do. I mean, why would they not? And I trust that those day-to-day things that they're putting that information together, they're trying to meet that goal and move us in that direction. And I would defer to them on a lot of the day-to-day things and the running around and looking at things. That's their job, and that's what we've delegated to them. What I expect from them is to let us know periodically what they found and where are we at. And I think that that's what we're doing here today, and that's what I hope they continue to do. But I've got a suspicion a long time ago when we were first discussing this, maybe 3 years ago, that WSU was up to something. And the more that we talked about it, the more that Ray looked at things, that their drafts of stuff, the more negotiations that Kim had with meeting with people, the more suspicious I became that this was just a ploy to get us there, get our program, and then strip it away from us. I mean, it was focused to, them sort of taking it over. I've always been a little bothered by that. No direct evidence of it, except just what I hear and what I see. You get those gut feelings. So, they left, and let them build their program and do what they want to do. And let's just work on being a better program and moving ours forward. And I trust that we got people that are going to do that. So just keeping me up to date and letting us know when we need to make important decisions is sort of my rub on this whole thing. I hope you people don't think that I'm trying to block a discussion on this. No, this is an important issue, an important program, but I don't think we need to sensationalize something that doesn't need to be sensationalized. Just that two people decided to leave. They had a good reputation. Let's find some more and let's keep our program running. And if we got to move it out of Wichita because of what's going on with WotC or with Wichita, with WSU Tech, then let's find a place and let's do it as cost effectively as we can. If we got to sell off our building over there on 21st and Andover Road to fund it, then let's move in that direction too. Let's move and let these folks do what they need to do and continue the negotiations. That's my feeling about the whole thing. And I think everybody's doing a great job. But I'm happy to hear thoughts from Julie and hear from Shelby. I think it's important that we all say what we think, and we may not always agree, but I'm hoping we're all on the same page, and that is continue the program and make it work. And let's delegate where we've always delegated, and let's just stay updated and make decisions when we need to make decisions. And that's my say. I'll stop.
Okay, well, I really appreciate that. And I appreciate you saying that, you want to have an open meeting and you want our thoughts. And I guess really you are lucky that you have been here longer, because you're privileged to all this information, and Shelby and I are not.
That's true. And I appreciate that. I'm ahead of the game sometimes, Julie, on that.
Right. And that's what orientation is supposed to all be about. So I guess the next thing I would ask then is, I'd like to see when and how the breakdown in communications occurred between WSU and ourselves because of what you said. You actually said just a few minutes ago in your comments that at some point you felt like they were just wanting us to get all set up so they could come in and take it over. And so I think there might have been some negotiations that we've missed in the last year or so. So what would we find if we were to ask for even public records on what kind of negotiations have been occurring? Because I don't know.
I don't think there's any hard evidence, Julie. It's just like what Ray was saying when he looks at the contract. You see this, they want to control this. They want to have all the say in this. They want to oversee that. You just start going, this is a setup for, almost like a corporation taking over and merging with somebody. You just kind of get these hints. And, then, we're going to pay for most of this. And they never tell us what their contribution is going to be. And don't tell us how much we got to kick in later. It's just these little clues, Julie, that you pick up. And just like you get your suspicions over things.
I have some hard evidence.
Did they send documents?
No, in 2016, in the legislature, Dr. Bardo, Ty Masterson came and talked to us because they wanted to join up WSU and the Votech school. And that's how it all started.
True.
Well, I question why Emporia didn't go with what's the name of the tech
Flint
school?
Flint
in
Hills Tech.
Flint Hills. They didn't want any part of it. Now we're seeing the effects of what's happened. Now all of a sudden, we see WotC and WSU. We don't know. They're saying that they're going to charge the same rate if you go to WSU. So in other words, they're making it more favorable for the students at WotC to come to WSU. Now, is that going to continue to happen? I don't know. But we have other technical schools in Kansas that have not merged with another four-year institution. It started back in 2016. The trail is there.
This is Shelby. Just me personally, I like the idea of keeping our programs in Butler County
I do too.
and not pushing into someone else's county, and then we've got to get approval. Or, I mean, if we're doing our own thing in our counties, we could
Yeah,
see
as
what
long
works
as
best
we-
for us, which
As long
I,
as we stay within our service area,
Yeah.
we
Right.
don't have to, we don't have to seek approval from anybody. So our multi-county service area, we're okay.
So how
But
did we ever
Sedgwick-
get into
yeah.
Sedgwick?
Sedgwick County is not our service area. That
How did we get there to begin
conversation
with?
started- That conversation started years ago
Years
between
ago.
Dr. Vietti and Dr. Beggs, who was president of Wichita State at the time. And she went to Dr. Beggs and said, we're interested in starting a culinary program. And because they did not have one at that time, they had an agreement. He was okay with that. And that's why we ended up in Sedgwick County. That's the population base. That's where the hotels and the restaurants are. And that's how that, in a nutshell, that's how that program started. But it was a conversation between Dr. Beggs and Dr. Vietti at the time. And, you know, the service area agreements require that when we're, whether it's us or any other institution that's in somebody else's service area, we have to have approval. So for instance, if Barton, you know, wants to teach classes in our service area, they send us a document. These are the classes, these are the OSHA classes that we're teaching or whatever, and we can sign off on them or not. If we don't want to sign off on them, we can tell them that. They can appeal to the Board of Regents or whatever, but it's, you know, it's part of that service area agreement.
So in Marion and
That's our
Council
service
Grove,
area. That's our service area.
those are both our service areas.
Yes.
Marion, Greenwood, Butler, Chase,
Morris.
and Marion counties are our service area.
So Council Grove is in that,
Yes.
Yeah.
and so is Marion.
Yes.
Well, I just wondered, because I know our nursing program is tied to KU.
But that's through an articulation partnership. KU's
And
not
not
actually.
WSU.
Correct. And that's to get a
We have-
4-year.
We have articulations with a lot of different institutions. The agreement is if you're going to have an actual physical presence or online is completely different than face-to-face classes. Online, you can be anywhere technically. But if you're going to teach face-to-face classes or, you know, we were going to have we've had that physical presence in Sedgwick County, then we've had to have an agreement. If Hutch's EMS program and paramedic program or fire science program used to be in the Wichita area in a number of different locations, and they always had to get approval to teach those classes. And a couple of years ago, they were informed that they weren't going to any longer sign off on those classes, and so.
Did WSU then open up a fire science program?
No, I think it, no, they, and it was maybe it was more, not fire science, but EMS.
EMS.
Side of it, but,
Did they do that then? Open up an EMS?
WSU Tech has EMS, I believe. So, so the, you know, the service agreements dictate some of that, approval process that we have to abide by. But I think the hospitality program's been in existence, I don't know, I don't know, Mel or Lori, more than 15 years probably, I suppose, 15, 20 years, I think.
Yes.
Dr. Vietti was here 17 years and so she's been gone 7. So yeah, it's probably been in existence 15 years, I bet.
I think the initial lease was for 10 years and we renewed it once. So we're right at getting close to 20 years, I think.
Dr. Kroll, previously, when we were in Wichita, how many teaching kitchens did we have?
1.
So 2 will be great.
one teaching kitchen, really limited space, very small space. We
Uh-huh.
didn't have, Mel, how many square feet did we have between kitchen space and the two classrooms that were divided by the temporary wall?
About 3078, so 3,078 square feet.
Yeah, so pretty small, pretty compact, and they made it work, you know.
Well, it's going to be bigger and better.
That's right.
So we're going to know by the time there's another meeting on Tuesday, how many are culinary and how many students are hospitality.
I can get that tomorrow.
So
It's
what-
no rush. I was just curious.
when they graduate with hospitality, what is it, an associate's in?
Hospitality management.
The Associate of
And-
Applied Science in Hospitality Management, and then if they choose the culinary route, it's a Associate of Applied Science in Culinary.
And what was hospitality again?
Hospitality
Applied
Management.
Associate of Applied Science in
Both are
hospitality.
applied science
Yes.
associate degrees?
Yes.
That's good.
Do any of these, do either one of those happen to move entirely to a 4-year?
I can't hear what Julie's saying.
Do either one of these associates happen to move entirely to a 4-year university?
There are articulations. There are some bachelor's degrees in those areas, but what we've discovered lots of times is that the students go into industry, go to work right away with their 2-year degree. There's not probably a huge number that transfer on. If they do, oftentimes what they'll do is transfer on the hospitality, the hotel management, and the business side.
I'm just
I don't
talking
think
about
there's
state
any-
universities. if
I don't think
any-
there's any culinary 4-year programs in Kansas, are there, Lori? I don't think
No,
there are.
but K-State has a Hospitality Management bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
And
I
then
just
with the
wondered
new
how much-
applied bachelor's science, there's we've had discussions with WSU, not WSU Tech, but WSU, of folding our applied science degree into a bachelor's of applied science with them. But again, it was more focused on the hospitality side.
There are opportunities now for students, even with their Associate of Applied Science degrees. Some of the WSU has a bachelor's in applied science. I think Pitt State has a bachelor's in applied science. So, for instance, if a student finished a culinary program with us or like a welding program, even an applied science degree, and wanted to partner that with business or something like that, they could transfer the bulk of their Associate of Applied Science degree to that 4-year applied science degree to finish up some additional classes and finish their bachelor's degree. And it may not be specifically in that, aligned completely in welding or whatever. There may be more of a business focus if they wanted to, start their own.
Open their own shop.
business. So there's opportunities.
I'd just really like to know how much would be acceptable to any of the state colleges for either thing. And I
Varies from
understand what you're
institution to
saying for
institution.
culinary, but,
Yeah.
well, I mean,
It varies from institution to institution, but
the
Lori,
top 5 would be great.
we can put together a little bit of a comparison. The advisors would know if somebody's transferring on in hospitality management, what classes transfer on.
Yeah, we can do that.
That'd be
Aaron Slimp, he was the liaison and advising that works with students that are transferring on, so he can easily help us with that.
Thanks, Lori.
Chairman Howe, I move that the board meeting be adjourned this evening.
Second.
Third.
Is he still
He
on?
is muted again.
No,
Jimmy.
I'm so sorry. I think it's a good discussion, and I think that it merits discussion, of course, in the future as we move along and learn more, because we're really probably a pretty quick timeline to really kind of move this to where it needs to be and get solid. So I appreciate, Kim and all the executive staff and the deans to move as quickly as they can, investigate and get the information to us. But unless anybody's got anything else I really need to know right now, I think it's fine to entertain a motion to go ahead and adjourn, and I think we have it. Do we have a second?
No.
You
I
even
would
have
really
a
like to
motion and a
discuss
second.
that.
We're ready to call the roll, sir.
Oh, okay. I can't do something. Yeah, go ahead. Call the roll.
Trustee Good,
Yes.
Trustee Law,
Yes.
Trustee Rhodes,
Yes.
Trustee Winslow,
I'm sorry. I need to know what the motion was. I thought it was
To
an
adjourn the
adjournment.
meeting.
To
Yeah,
adjourn.
to
Okay,
adjourn the
okay,
meeting, yeah.
okay. I want to make sure, yes.
No, just vote yes, Julie. Just-
Trustee
No,
Lechtenberg,
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
It passes unanimously.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you all.
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks all of you online. Thanks, Lori and Mel.
What did you do?